I'm out today picking these wild roses. Sitting down here by the river. It's so peaceful. I just love it. This is a wild rose bush here behind me. Very thorny. Full of thorns. And tiny little rosebuds. But I've been picking these this morning, and then I'm going to take them home and make some remedies of sort. So let's head into the kitchen and see what we come up with. Hello! Thanks for joining me today. I am going to be discussing wild roses. I love wild roses, and there's so many things you can do with them. My name is Dacia. I am Simply Josephine across the board. That's my website, and you can also find me on Instagram as Simply Josephine. So let's get started. I am talking about your basic 5-petal wild rose. Grows all over North America and beyond. There are several different types of wild roses, but they are all in the Rosaceae family, which is, there's lots, that's a huge plant family, like apples and hawthorn, cherries, those are all in that plant family. And in our corner of northwest Montana, we have a lot of service berries. They are also in that same plant family. But I've been going out and I've been collecting lots and lots of rose petals. And I've put together this video. I'm going to talk about making a rose petal honey, stringing up rose petals, and then I've also created a rose petal body oil and elixir. All right, rosebuds. Rosebuds are so fun to gather, and then I like to just with a simple needle and thread string them up. So it looks like, so there's my needle. And then I string up the rosebuds. I like to string these up and have them around when I sell all my products, when I peddle my wares. This looks nice, kind of draped around different things. Or you can hang them just anywhere in your home or in your vehicle. Oh, and little kids love this project, as long as they're old enough to manage a needle. This is a fun project to do with children. So the rose petal honey, very, very simple. Rose petal infused honey. I love it in coffee or tea, it's really good on a slice of homemade bread that's dripping in butter. And to put this rose petal honey on there, it's just a delightful treat. And you can even eat the rose petals as well. So I fill my jar with these rose petals and then just simply pour honey over it. And you may need to stir it. The plant material will eventually rise to the top. So I just give it a little stir to push it back down. Here is some lilac honey that I made, and see, I've already stirred this today, but it rises to the top. So I'll, turn it over every couple of days and get this honey that's on the bottom on top of the plant material. You will have to do this also with the rose petal infused honey. All right, yeah, so you don't have to have a fancy jar like this. You can just, you know, put it in any old jar. I wanted to take a minute to talk about how wonderful this book is before I discuss the rose petal elixir. This book, Wild Drinks and Cocktails by Emily Han, right here, highly recommend. So many ideas and wonderful concoctions for cocktails and mocktails. These rose petals here, I think I'm going to dry. I have a dry rack going over there, and just will use them for future tea blends. I want to start experimenting with some of my own wild crafted tea blends. I've made a few, but I want to explore that a little bit further. So that's what I'm going to do there. Wild rose medicine making. I'm going to start off by making an infused oil, and then we're going to make an elixir. Yesterday I collected a whole basket. This was a heaping basket of wild roses. And today I picked those apart. I pulled the majority of the petals off. Here is the center part of the 5-petaled wild rose that we have just starting to bloom all over in our corner of Montana. So I pulled those off, and I'll just get those out of here. And then I put some, I like to fill my jars about 3/4 full for my herbal preparations. The elixir, I'm going to make a little more elixir than I am going to make the body oil. But I forgot to grab something. I also like to put some thorns in my medicine preparations, because rose and hawthorn, I really like to put the thorn in the medicine because thorns help us create healthy boundaries. And I don't know about you, but that's something I have to continually work on over and over and over again. So I'm just going to put a few of those little thorns in there, and I might even put a couple leaves in the body oil and a few thorns in there as well. There's something so significant about the rose thorn. Such generous medicine, but yet she'll snag you so quick the minute you are not gentle. And I think that's a good reminder on how to be in this world. In order for us to put forth all of our medicine in an abundant way, we have to say no to things that don't serve us. And I feel the thorn can really help out with that. So once you get rose buds, petals, a few thorns in your jar, you want to start with a nice clean jar. And one of the first videos I did a long video about how to make an herbal oil. So I'm just going to go over it fairly quickly today. And if you want to go more in depth with how to make an herbal oil, it's I think the third video I created. So it's a few videos back. Herbal body oiling. I love herbal body oiling. It feels incredible. It's a great way to move lymph and just check in with yourself. It's, let's see if I can get this open. Let's see here, my hands are kind of, ooh, there we go. So I got that open. So back to herbal body oiling. I like to use avocado oil for herbal body oiling. And I also really like it on my face. So there's several different things you can do with the wild roses, but a wild rose petal infused oil is just so wonderful, and it's excellent for massage as well. You can use it as a bath oil, you can put it in your hair, you can do whatever you want, but fresh flower oils are the quickest to become funky. So what you want to do is you want to get your oil in the roses, and then you're going to want to stir this every day until the petals sink to the bottom. Once the petals sink to the bottom of the jar, and so it'll be petals, then oil, then the top, then you don't have to stir it anymore. And that can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. And if you skip a day here and there, that's okay, but you don't want to go 4 or 5 days not stir your oil, otherwise you'll have a big moldy mess. Like I said, I make lots of herbal infused oil, so I am just in the habit of taking a moment to stir every day. Another key is a breathable top. You want to put a breathable top on, because if you cap it too, that'll also get funky. So I just put this on here, and then I meant to get my rubber band out ahead of time, but I didn't. And then I just rubber band make sure it's all covered in fabrics, so funny little fruit flies or something like that doesn't get in there. And then you want to label with what it is. So this is a wild rose avocado oil, and I made this on June 1st. All right, so I just stick that on there, and then keep this out of direct sunlight. You want to put this somewhere where it's not going to get too hot. But that's what it looks like. Beautiful, beautiful rose body oil. And then in 4 to 6 weeks you can strain this, or you know, if it sits for a month or two, as long as the petals are at the bottom, all will be well. It will be an excellent, excellent body oil. Now, moving on to herbal elixir making. An elixir is just a fancy word, and whew, that's a fancy word. Elixir is a fancy word for alcohol, honey, and plant material. So the roses have such a distinct, unique flavor that I like to use vodka as the alcohol, because vodka is flavorless. And an elixir recipe is generally a third to a fourth part honey, and then 3/4 or 2/3 part alcohol. I don't like mine that sweet, so I do about a 1/4 part honey and then the rest the vodka. So my honey, I love this honey. If you are local, McLaury's honey, it's the best. And let's see here. I will slowly start to pour that in. And that's probably about enough. If you want to measure it out, you can. But I just find that honey makes such a mess in the measuring jar that I'm kind of like, why bother? And let's see, going to use vodka. And then I just slowly pour that in. Take a little more, so I have a little more here. I always like to keep extra on hand so you can top off your jars. But I think I'll start with that amount. And let's see here. I've cut out some wax paper here to put in between the lid and I'm probably going to stir this too, but first I'm going to give it a good shake and try to loosen it up that way. So, wow, rose medicine is so incredible, isn't it? Look at that. So now I can see by looking at my jar that I did get a fair amount of honey in there. I might add a little bit more and then top it off with the rest of the vodka. But now that I've got that shaken up, I'm just going to do another little bloop. Not much, just a little bloop in the middle. And I'll top it off, hopefully. Oh, well, looks like this is all I have. So I will have to get to the liquor store and get some more. Although not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Sunday. Liquor store is closed on Sunday. Around here, anyway. So, on Monday, I'll get to the liquor store, get a little bit more of the vodka, and top that off, give this a really good shake, and label, label, label. And I also put what is in it. So not only will I write elixir, I will also write vodka elixir or brandy elixir. This is a wild rose vodka elixir. And today is June 1st. So I'll get that labeled on there. Oh my goodness. This remedy, heart medicine, isn't that beautiful? Wild rose medicine. This can be strained in 4 to 6 weeks, and it can be put in dropper bottles, and you can put a few drops in your tea or water, or you can just have it by itself. It's a lovely, lovely medicine for the heart. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful summer and it's filled with all kinds of rose loveliness. Bye.